Welcome. You are right in time. I'm Galleon, and I aim to make your next watch purchase the right one for you. Today, we're looking at something genuinely refreshing, the RZE Resolute 36 Mojito, the second generation of RZE's compact titanium field watch, now with a more refined case, a multi-layered green dial, and all the lightweight toughness the brand is known for. And yes, Mojito is absolutely the right name for the dial. It's green, it's lively, and it makes you want to go outside, even if it's outside is just your local cafe. For those unfamiliar with the brand, RZE is a Singapore-based independent operation that has carved out a very distinct niche: hardened titanium tool watches built for people who actually use their watches. Their design language is angular, modern, and purpose-driven. No vintage cosplay here. Their ethos is simple: take our watches on adventures they can handle it. I've had the Mojito on the wrist for about a week as my daily wear and put it through some pretty lightweight exercise. Commutes, errands, gym sessions, and of course, the office desk. And I've got a few thoughts, so let's get into it. Starting with the watch head, the case measures 36mm across, is felt 9.5mm thick from crystal to case back, and a very friendly lug-to-lug of just over 42mm, all carved from solid titanium and treated with RZE's Ultra Hex coating, boosting surface hardness to around 1200 hardness figures. Ultra Hex makes the watch roughly 8 times more scratch resistant than standard stainless steel, and thanks to the all titanium construction, it's absurdly light, about 36 grams head only. On proportions and weight alone, it's almost the ideal unisex watch, if not for the assertively angular case that gives it more masculine presence without adding any bulk. Both the case and bracelet are fully brushed, and the main body of the watch features a strong geometric profile. Faceted surfaces along the flanks, lugs, and crown guards break up what could otherwise feel like a solid block of metal. This chunkiness is then contrasted by a raised, relatively thin round bezel with a polished edge, framing the dial and making the watch appear slightly larger than the numbers suggest. Personally, I'm not a huge fan of this execution. It almost has a toy-like quality, much like the wrist communicator from Power Rangers. Other faceted case watches I've owned or handled, such as those from Formex or Secula, deliver the same geometric philosophy with more maturity and visual cohesion, and the featherweight feel of titanium exaggerates that youthful expression. Despite following the architectural cues of its larger 42mm sibling, the translation to 36mm doesn't quite land for me. Now, let's talk about that dial. It starts with a popcorn-textured outer ring, likely stamped or etched into a master disc, surrounding a softly radial sunburst center. A white printed outline and minute track frame everything neatly, and hidden within this layout is a small visual trick which we'll get to later. Depending on the lighting, that dial swings from an earthy olive to bright citrus green. That name isn't just marketing. The dial generally sparkles like a cold drink under sunlight. The applied baton indices, with double batons at the cardinal points, contribute to clean legibility, and each index sits above a printed arrow marker that hides a surprising, fun little gimmick not mentioned in any press or marketing material. At 12 o'clock, you get an applied RZE logo and broadsword-style hands filled with Swiss Superluminova handling the timekeeping. Savia crystal with inner AR keeps reflections minimal, and daytime legibility, even under harsh light, has been exceptional. Overall, the dial composition is well implemented, if slightly conservative, and aligns with recent trends of stepped or layered dials to introduce depth. Think of the latest Casio Edifice Automatic or the updated Orient Contemporary Sports line. Moving on to other exterior features then, you get a screw-down caseback and matching screw-down ridged crown, delivering a perfectly adequate 100 meters of water resistance. The crown action is smooth and is easy to operate for time setting and winding the workhorse Miyota 9039 automatic movement, beating at 28,800 vibrations per hour or 4 Hz with about 41 hours of power reserve. Now, on to Mojito's secret party trick, the Lume. That minute track, Those little arrow markers, the radio frame around the center dial, the indices, and of course the hands, they all erupt in a vivid wash of green that feels straight out of neon-lit sports stadium. It's bright, uniform, and far better executed than I expected at this price point. I didn't formally time the fade, but based on RZE's usual generosity and consistency of Lume application, I've got no doubt they'll hold its glow well into the night. A quick pause, however, before we get into the bracelet. If you're enjoying this review so far, or if you've learned something new, please do consider hitting the like button and subscribing. It really helps the channel grow and tells me I'm creating content that's genuinely valuable or useful to you, as well as worth your time. Thank you. While I've been fairly lukewarm on the watch head so far, the included quick-release titanium bracelet is a masterclass in comfort and functional design. The two-link, fully brushed bracelet tapers from 20mm down to 16mm, adding to the overall sleekness. Sizing is done with screw pins, quick and painless, and with the quick-click dual-button release clasp, you get tool-free micro-adjustment as well. Hot day? Click. Cold day? Click. Ate too much for lunch? Click. It's one of the features you don't realize you need until you've got it. Link articulation is excellent, the finishing avoids sharp edges entirely, and hair pulling, the natural predator of many titanium bracelets, is blissfully absent. The integration within the case is gapless and clean, and the quick release mechanism makes strap swaps effortless. In my view, RZE has absolutely nailed Grade 2 titanium bracelet engineering at this specific price point, surpassing what I previously considered the benchmark, Citizen. On the wrist, the watch wears extremely comfortably thanks to the downward sloping lugs and lightweight bracelet, bringing the total size for my wrist weight to 88.5 grams. However, I did notice prominent rotor noise and a slight bracelet jangle. These aren't deal breakers, but they're worth mentioning if you're sensitive to mechanical clatter. As for versatility, I found it quite a challenge to pair with dressier leather straps, likely due to the case geometry and vivid dial color. The Mojito feels more at home on the bracelet or on rugged textile options like sailcloth or NATO straps. If you've got pairing ideas though, drop them in the comments. I'd love to see what people come up with. So that's the bracelet, a genuine highlight. But it's also worth stepping back to look at the broader RZE ownership experience, because this is where they quietly outshine many competitors in the affordable titanium tool watch category. Now, RZE talks a big game about durability. Ultra Hex, hardened titanium, built for adventure. But what I really appreciate is that they back it up with a very human, very confidence-building ownership policy. You get a 14-day, no questions asked return period, which they openly encourage you to treat like a test drive. This is their words. Unbox it, de-sticker it, size it, wear it, and experience Ultra Hex. And if it's not for you, send it back. No drama, no guilt trip. That's shockingly rare at this price point. The brand also openly acknowledged that the universal trauma of the first scratch on a new watch. Their philosophy? Tools are meant to be used, and if you're going to use them, we'll make sure that they look good for longer. That's where Ultra Hex earns its keep, making the titanium surface several times more scratch resistant than standard 316L stainless steel. Now, warranty coverage is a respectable 2 years. Nothing exceptional, but decent. And when paired with the return policy, the overall experience feels pretty transparent and consumer friendly. And for around US $680, the value here is a little bit ridiculous. You've got titanium, hardened coating, sapphire crystal, a strong workhorse movement, micro-adjust clasp, 100 meters of war resistance, and an subjectively well-executed dial and case design, and a returns process that lets you try it with next to no risk. It's a pretty complete package, at a price point where big brands often give you stainless steel, a mineral crystal, and a kiss for good luck. So, is the RZE Resolute 36 Mojito worth your money? If you want a unique dial, serious durability, featherweight comfort, a genuinely impressive titanium bracelet, and one of the easiest, most consumer-friendly ownership experiences in the category, then yes, absolutely. However, if you prefer a bit more heft on the wrist, luxury or traditional maturity in your watches, the design may feel a little bit too youthful, and you might be happier with something like the Formix Field or a classic Hamilton khaki. But as a fun, capable, everyday sports companion, the Mojito is refreshing, light, and surprisingly addictive, just like the drink. If you own the Mojito or any RZE piece, let me know your experience in the comments below. And if you've got strap pairing suggestions for this that made the style pop, I'd love to hear them. Thanks for watching, and as always, keep your watches wound so you are right on time. I'll see you in the next one.